Welcome back to Craft Computing, everyone. As always, I'm Jeff, and sorry there's no RTX voice for this video because none of my PCs are powered up, so you're just going to have to suffer through a little bit of fan noise. But it is Wednesday around 2:30 in the afternoon, something like that. I'm going to walk you through what actually happened to cause the flooding in my house, what the damage has been, and what the remediation steps are going to be in the next couple of days. But before we get started, I want to thank everyone who reached out in support. Honestly, it has been truly humbling and tear-jerking at times that so many people reached out to offer assistance, whether it was offering server time. Techno Tim, thank you so much for offering up some server time just in case my servers went offline, or hard drive space. Thank you to all the vendors who reached out and said, whatever you lost, we'll replace it, no questions asked. There's so many of you that reached out. And not only the professional space, but the Patreon and the float plane. You guys have been absolutely incredible. And like I said, tear-jerking at more than one time. So thank you guys for your support, not only for my studio, but for my girls' bedrooms, which were also affected. We lost something like 60 or 70 books that we've had since my oldest was first born. And so there's some sentimental things that were lost, but the outpouring of support and the offering to replace so much of what was lost, I just cannot thank you guys enough. Before we get started into the damage, let me just go ahead and give you a tour of the downstairs of my house. So this is my editing desk here in my studio, and it's where wait, hold on a second. Okay, that's better. This is where I do all of my editing. A lot of my benchmarking is over on this desk. Now, my house is a split level house. You can see ground level is right here, and then we are significantly lower than that. That is issue number one that led to the flooding inside of my house. So walking through here, a lot of this stuff over here is what was damaged. I have a whole box of hard drives that was laying on the ground. A lot of them are older drives, and all the contents of them has already been backed up to other sources. But still, there's 25 different hard drives in there and a couple of external enclosures, including an external NAS. An Avogant Glyph that I never really got the opportunity to review properly, so I'm hoping that survived, but I doubt that it did. And then in the bags are just a bunch of miscellaneous cables and power strips and things like that I'm just not even going to consider taking a chance on, because I plug computers into these things. I don't want them shorting out a couple of days or years from now because of corrosion caused by the floodwater. Now, as you can see from the floor, it's fairly clean. That's because we had fresh water flood our basement, not backed up sewage. So I can't even begin to express how thankful I am for that circumstance. And then this is the angle that you guys normally see. Like I said, there was about 3 to 4 inches of water all throughout this room. It never went above the molding on the side of the room, but it was fairly deep, especially towards the center. Right here where I was standing when I filmed the video a couple of days ago, it was up over the top of my ankles. And a quick little confession before we get over to my daughter's rooms. I put this door in when we first moved into the house so I could separate this room, which is kind of like a downstairs living room, from the rest of the house, but I never finished drywalling it. So the door is hung, and it's hung very square. In fact, it's the most square door in my house, but I never bothered to finish that project. I think I might do that now. And sorry, but this is the part where it's going to get a little loud, so I might end up voicing over this piece later. Walking out into the hallway here, you can see we do have a carpeted stairway leading to the upstairs. We're actually not sure if we're going to need to replace the carpet yet or not. Next up down the hallway is my youngest daughter's room. We call her Little Bit. We have a full custom log bed frame that her great-grandfather built. This is also the room where we lost most of the books, as her bookshelf was laying down on the ground. We've also got a Harry Potter style cupboard back here behind the bed. She comes in here and reads books a lot of times with a little portable lantern, and her and my oldest daughter really like that space. This is my oldest daughter's room. Now, luckily, the water didn't actually reach her bed frame. This room sits a little bit higher than the other two, but the rug down below is a total loss, as are the stairs leading up to her bed. Her desk and file cabinet also are likely going to be gone as well. So, as you can see, my daughter's rooms are obviously in shambles as well. In fact, my youngest's room, little bit, her room was hit the hardest. Like I've mentioned earlier, we lost probably close to 60 or 70 books from her room. We lost pretty much every rug that we had downstairs. And just a lot of miscellaneous toys and whatnot are just gone. They're just waterlogged and couldn't be recovered. So, what actually caused this flood? Well, my house actually sits on top of an underground river. Now, 99% of the time, that doesn't pose a problem. We do have sump pumps behind our house. Actually, right behind this wall is one of them. But those kind of keep the water at bay if it ever gets too high. But the river is about 12 feet even below where I'm standing. So what actually led to the flood? Well, it was actually kind of a comedy of errors kind of situation. Number one, we've had a crap ton of rainfall, snow melt, ice melt in the last couple of weeks that have really risen the water levels in this area. Secondly, we lost power on Saturday morning for right around 3 or 4 hours. Now, normally that's not a problem as the sump pumps have a battery backup. But that leads me to the third issue, and that's that at least one of the battery backups for our sump pumps failed. So, high water plus no power plus no battery backups equals, in the course of about 2 hours, we got something like 3 to 4 inches of water in our basement. Now, leading up to today, we were fully prepared for what was probably going to be about a month of hardship. I was already starting to make phone calls for trying to lease office space for the next month so I can continue filming, because I can't film with these fans running constantly downstairs. Even upstairs, you can hear them. It would have made for some great videos, though, with me trying to yell over the top of the fans or just turning on RTX voice all the time. But, yeah, we were pretty certain that we were going to have to go basically bare studs on all the walls and rip up the flooring and wait for contractors to get parts in and everything else to make the situation right again. But just about an hour ago, I got literally the best possible news I could get in this situation, and that's that this room is 100% dry. I don't know how, but the water content in the walls is registering at about 5%, which is actually pretty normal. Once that value hits about 15 to 20%, you start to worry about mold, mildew, etc. getting into your walls and actually starting to destroy things and causing health hazards. None of our regular walls experienced anywhere close to that level of moisture. Now, as I did the walkthrough, you probably saw a couple of blowers and dehumidifiers still out and running. That was actually for the laundry room and the bathroom, which didn't have blowers going in them already. However, the moisture content in those rooms was only about 8%, and that was because it was trapped behind a rubber molding around the bottom of the room. Had it been a standard wood molding like we have everywhere else, the white bar down there, it actually probably would have been just fine. Now, the one bit of drywall that did measure in the high teens, I think around 18%, was the Harry Potter cupboard in Little Bit's room. That's her little clubhouse play space area. That is definitely going to need to have a little bit of repair work done, but it is so much better than having to literally rip up all of our walls, at least 3 feet up, and redo all the drywall, redo all the flooring, and basically evacuate every single room for a month. Instead, I'm already starting to bring things back into this room. So it really was a nightmare scenario of me coming downstairs to ankle-deep water and digging out not only my office, but my girls' bedrooms out of 3 to 4 inches of water. This situation actually is going to turn out pretty okay. Our insurance does have a sump pump failure clause in it, so we were covered for up to $10,000 in damages. Now, when we thought we were going to have to basically renovate the entire downstairs, we were expecting all that money to go towards that, plus probably some more out of pocket, with no money left over for personal items lost, or items in my office, or books or clothes or anything like that. Now it's looking more like only about $1,500 cost for the full cost of drying everything out, and then we're actually going to get back almost everything for all of our personal items. So again, probably the best news I could have asked for in this situation, given how dire the circumstances were, but it looks like everything is going to be okay, and actually by Monday, I should be back up to filming in here. So again, I want to thank all of you guys for making what honestly was one of the worst situations that could have happened into something that was a little bit more livable and something that was a little bit more approachable because of the amount of support that you guys poured into this. There's something like 140 or 150 people that have joined up to the Patreon. A similar number have joined on the float plane. I thank each and every one of you. And while some of you had some, what I will say, pretty astronomical donations in there, if you want to take those back down to a normal monthly level and just support me at like the $5 to $10 level, that is more than okay, because we're going to be okay. I mean, there's definitely going to be a little bit of financial hardship, given as this is my only means of income now, but you guys made this livable, and you guys honestly brought a smile to my face when I didn't think one was possible. But as you can see, I'm in a pretty darn good mood. In fact, I've even got a beer with me today. So thank you all so much for watching this one. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already, join the Floatplane or Patreon, and you can get access to my exclusive Discord server where you can chat with myself and the other hosts from Talking Heads right as soon as they all get power yet, because none of them do. So again, I want to say thank you to everyone who donated to the channel and donated to help me get back on my feet. But what I will say is anything in excess of what we need to get back up and started and replace all the personal property that we lost, I will be donating anything extra that you guys gave over the last week or so to another charitable organization, maybe the Red Cross for a lot of the warming centers that are going up, because there are still today on Wednesday about 150,000 homes in Oregon that are still without power, and they need a little assistance too. So again, thank you guys so much for watching this one, and as always, I will see you in the next video, hopefully in an even better mood. Cheers, guys.